share a room at a friend's mom's apartment, so I might move in there for a bit, but yeah, it's hard to get proper sleep and stuff, so I think I'm going to maybe just have to get an apartment like a normal person.
Yeah, I know. Moving around is pretty hard. Were you downtown?
Yeah, I was living right at King and John.
Okay.
Had a 2-bedroom there. It was just too expensive, and then I looked into getting a roommate. It's like, even that would be too expensive.
Right.
I should just sell it. Also, I left my advertising job 4 years ago, so I don't have to be in one area. I don't have a job, so I thought, okay, if I'm free to move around, I could go to LA for a bit. I could just see where opportunities take me. So that's the plan, but it's a bit hard without a base, I'm realizing. So.
Nice. So we're basically just doing an interview for one of our assignments in media writing.
Yeah.
We're just interviewing like people that are running for like Green Party or Conservative or whichever. And yeah, so we're like happy that we can interview you, and this is a really good experience for us. So
cool.
Yeah.
What class is this?
This is media writing. We are media communication students.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then how long is that program?
So this is our final year. Like we graduate in
But it's
April.
Like 3 years or 4 years?
Yeah, 2 years, but yeah. So it's pretty cool.
And how are you gonna? So you're gonna record the audio and then take notes?
Yeah. We have a recording going on just so that in case we miss anything. Or whatever,
so you can hear.
Yeah. And then we'll take some pictures if you don't mind.
Yeah, that's fine.
But yeah, it's not even a lot of questions. It's just like 5 questions.
I mean, we could film it too, but I guess it's kind of loud here.
Yeah, I don't think our teacher wants us to film. I think it's just pictures,
paper,
just like as proof that we were here.
Yeah.
And to make it all up, right?
Kind of makes sense. Yeah.
So yeah. So do you want to start, or I'll start?
Just wanted to ask. You noticed that you're an actor, right? You work in acting.
Yeah.
So how did you decide to move from acting, I guess, into politics?
Well, it was kind of it's an interesting story. Like it was like a natural progression, because I've always cared about the environment. Like I've always picked up litter and got in fights with my parents. I was turning off lights in the house, and then later in life I was getting pretty anxious about the environment. I was trying to do all these things to help out, so I'd pick up litter everywhere I go, or I made these handmade flyers that explain how when you idle your car, it's a waste of gas and it's bad for the environment. And so I would hand this to cars that were idling everywhere I went. And it was starting to get annoying. Like I had a girlfriend say, we can't go to LA if you're going to bring your flyers because we're going to get shot. Like somebody's going to just come up. And it did start getting weird. Like I saw a guy in his BMW once having a nap with his window open and just idling his car. So I threw a flyer in there. And then a couple blocks later, when I was walking down the street, he ran up to me and he's like, if you ever touch my car again, I'll kill you, tree hugger. And I'm like, okay. So I was like, I need to do something that can help the environment but not get me beaten up. And then I saw a contest online. They were asking for a funny eco-themed short film that would be judged by Laurie David, who produced An Inconvenient Truth. And I thought, that'd be kind of fun, because she's Larry David's ex-wife, and I could do something funny about the environment. So I made a little short film. It turns out she wasn't judging the Canadian ones, but it gave me the idea, hey, I can do comedy about the environment and then teach people about that, and it uses my skills, because I've always liked acting and doing comedy. I did stand-up in university, been doing voice acting for all the years, and I like making funny YouTube videos. So I thought if I combine my love of acting with the environment, I can help people and reach a bigger audience, because I'll never be able to pick up every piece of litter myself. I even went to the Bahamas once, and I had my little flyers, but I realized, oh my God, there's people idling all over the world right now. There's no point in me coming up to every individual person. So I did the eco video, and then I wound up making a funny music video, asking Laurie David to marry me. And then when Obama was running for office, somebody made a video called Obama Girl. It was a girl rapping or singing about why she loved him and stuff. And I thought, that gave me an idea. I should do a love song for Elizabeth May, who's the Green Party leader. And I thought, this just seems so obvious. Of course somebody's going to do that, but nobody did it. So I think the next election I thought, all right, I'm going to try that. So I got a friend of mine who's really good at music and production to help me make the song sound really good. And we just filmed it, and I tweeted it to her. And then she tweeted back, "I love you too." And then within minutes, all the newspapers were calling me, like asking, to interview me. And the CTV News Channel sent limo to pick me up and take me to their station to interview me about it. It's like on the news, like 24-hour news for 5 minutes, like on a loop. And they were like, it was a fun story. And anything you do during an election becomes news because they're always looking for new news. So they were like, "Are you really in love with her, or is it just about the environment?" And we did research. We understand you have a girlfriend. Like, does this affect things?
It's the whole media thing.
Yeah, and I misunderstood the question. I thought they were talking about, Elizabeth May's your girlfriend now. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm not afraid of commitment. But no, they meant you actually have a real life girlfriend. But yeah, so it was kind of exciting. And then I think when the next provincial election rolled around, and actually it helped her get elected. I remember they sent out a press release or an internal letter to the Green Party afterwards saying, we need to do better to get in the press. The only reason we were in the press at all this election was because Elizabeth's not allowed in the debates, and also because of Josh Rachlis' love song. So I was like, oh, it really made a difference. And it was chosen like one of Yahoo's top political videos of the year. And so the next election, I posted on Facebook. I said, "Hey, does anybody know how to run?" Because I was just like, what do I do to step things up? I thought maybe I could actually run myself, but I had no idea how to do it. And somebody said, "Well, if you're serious, you could run for the Green Party, and I'll tell you how." And then so somebody emailed me and just said, "Listen, we need somebody in the Eglinton-Lawrence riding." And so I met with somebody there, and he's opened a bank account for me, and then I just did it. And it, especially with the Green Party, there's not a lot of help. There's not a big party machine, so they'll put all their efforts into maybe a couple of ridings where they think they have a really good chance. But I was kind of on my own, and I went to the first debate, and I think I passed what your question was. But anyway, that's kind of how I got into it. I just decided, okay, I did the love song, now what do I do? Because if I'm running for office, then my stuff will really be in the media, like it'll be newsworthy. And sure enough, when I was running the first time, somebody from the Toronto Star emailed me and said, "Hey, are you going to do another funny song? We'll cover it if you're doing one." So I was like, oh, I better do a song. So I wrote a song. I called it my digital flyer. It was me singing, like, if you could just forward this video to people, then I won't have to waste paper making a flyer. And then there was a big article in the Toronto Star about it. And then I decided to run for mayor, and then Breakfast Television emailed me or messaged me on Facebook and said, "Do you want to come on and talk about your campaign?" So each time I've gotten a little bit of media coverage, and I try to do something interesting for it. And then even now, there was a debate in Thornhill last week, and I opened up by saying, like, I don't know, I'm not a political expert, I'm here more for comedic relief, and but also just to learn from you and to speak from the heart. And the two other candidates were like, "What does he mean?" But then when I started making jokes, like, "Oh, we get it, he's making us laugh." And then everybody was laughing and wanted pictures with me afterwards, and they came up and said, "You're so great. We can't vote for you because we're not supporting the Green Party, but we like you." And so it's my way of even entertaining people at debates and making it less boring. Like the people who ran it were like, "Oh my God, this is so much better than yesterday's. It was more lively and fun and stuff." So I like to even just get people interested in politics and excited about it. That's why I like to do it.
So other than the environment, what else are your top 3 goals if elected?
I really support scientific innovation, and medical research. I want I want them to be able to invent drugs that'll let me live forever and stuff. So I like to support business and innovation and technology. Like that's one of my passions. I feel that some parties want to, and even our own party actually, wants to limit the amount of time that you can patent a drug, which might make drugs cheaper, but I think it also might stifle the development of new drugs. So I want to make sure we have as much scientific advances as possible. I care a lot about the arts, obviously, so I'd love to help support the arts and make sure we've got a robust Canadian system. We're not just relying on American entertainment. And healthcare is important as well. Like the Green Party is really into, we're going to have pharmacare, and we're going to have, pay for dental care. And I think it makes smart financial sense as well, because if you take care of people, they're not going to be sick, they'll be able to work more, they won't be relying on the healthcare system for diseases that we could have prevented. And what ties into the environment as well is livable cities where you can walk and have more transport, and that ties into health because you're able to exercise more, and there's less pollution, so you're less sick. So the environment ties into a lot of things as well.
So how do you think so far with the campaign going on? Like, how do you think it's coming along? Like, is it going smoothly? Is there any bumps in the road?
Yeah, I mean, my campaign is particularly difficult because I don't have it at home right now, but I've been living downtown and coming up to Thornhill takes some time. And there's a requirement that for anybody running for office, you have to get 100 signatures from people who live in the riding, which is a lot. And they also say the party says, usually 25% are going to be invalid, so you got to get like 130 or 150. So I was up here Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, just hanging out in the mall here or going a little bit of door to door, just trying to get people to sign the form. And it's difficult, I mean, just in general, to get people to sign something. They're like, who are you and why am I giving you my address? But also there's an extra problem in Thornhill. It's a very Jewish area, and the Green Party is known for having some anti-Israel resolutions, and I think Elizabeth May even said something about that in the debate that people have been mentioning. So even if people are stopping and saying, I might sign your paper, what party are you with? Once I tell them, they're like, no way, I can't support you guys, you're anti-Semitic. And I try to explain, well, I'm Jewish and I support Israel. They're like, well, why are you running for this party then? And I'm like, well, I'm trying to bring my own opinions to the party. So, but it's been difficult to get the signatures. But I think I had about 107. And then when I went to the debate on Thursday at a synagogue, people liked me so much that a lot of them were. I think I got another 40 signatures. And the Conservative Party candidate was telling, or their group was telling, hey, everybody signed their thing. Maybe because they thought I would steal a few Liberal votes, but whatever. It was nice of them to sign it. So I'll probably be okay. So that's a big challenge, and really. That's been my biggest focus right now, because until I get those signatures, I can't officially be on the ballot. The deadline is September 30th. And then other than that, it's going to be a challenge for even what to do with the campaign, because I don't have a lot of money. Like, a couple of people might donate a bit of money, but I think there's like 80,000 voters in the area. Last time I ran in Thornhill, I got like 627 votes, and the Conservatives do very well here. So there's not a large chance of me winning. I mean, even the people who saw me and liked me aren't necessarily going to vote for me. So it's a question of how much time and money do I want to devote to this? How much can I actually, I don't have a team of people to go door knocking. It would be all me. So partly I like doing this because I get to meet new people and just hear their stories and maybe make new friends. So I might print up some flyers and even just stand at a bus stop and just say, hey, I'm the candidate, just wanted to say hi. If you want to follow me on Facebook, you can see clips of my debates or my funny videos. And that might be the most I can do. A couple of people have asked for signs, but I don't even know if I can afford to print them up. And, will 2 signs make a difference? I don't know. My accountant was saying, no, this is the year, you got to really put everything into it. The Green Party is doing well. But I don't think, it's not realistic. And it's hard for anyone to move the needle, a lot of people just vote based on the party they vote on, and it is hard to reach people. But that's why I like to do things in the media. Like, if I can get in the news, then I can reach more people than spending every minute knocking on doors.
I saw reading an article that you were part of the shadow cabinet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, has that changed or changed your views or for your goals?
Yeah, I mean, what happened there was after the first time I ran provincially for the Green Party, and I think they wrote the Toronto Star article about my funny song. Mike Schreiner, the Green Party leader, called me up and said, hey, I heard good things about your campaign, and I heard you were in the news, and I'd love you to be on my shadow cabinet. So I was like, oh, okay. And he's like, you're kind of, you've worked in advertising, and so you understand business, and so he made me the critic of, I guess, consumer affairs, things to do with businesses. But again, I'm not, like I said at the beginning of the debate, I'm not an expert on these things, on policy and stuff, so I wasn't able to do a lot. It was, I guess this in particular was more of a title. And at the time, the Green Party didn't have any MPPs. Mike Schreiner's now won, so it's a bigger thing now. He's actually in Parliament. But at the time, we weren't in Parliament, and so it was more of an honor, and it was something that I could tell people about, and I was, it gave me some prestige and maybe gave me better ability to, I don't know what it led to, but it was just a nice thing, and so I tried to research it a bit, and but yeah, that particular thing, there wasn't a lot of opportunity to use it, and I'm not presently on it. I know Elizabeth May mentioned when I was on stage with her. She was announcing the platform last week. She's like, oh, and this is Tim Grant. He's my shadow critic on housing, I think. And he's a guy that's, you know, been researching politics for years, and he's running every election for years, and he's like, I don't know if he's in the area where there's a lot of U of T professors, so he's kind of in that world. So he really gets into that, and that's not really my area of expertise. I'm more, you know, I've been writing commercials for years. I like acting. I like being creative. I read the news a lot. I'm really into it. But it's a bit difficult for me to go in and criticize policy when I don't know everything about it. So lately it hasn't really affected things. But I think it's almost been more of an advantage that, you know, I've gotten in the media for my songs and stuff, because then oftentimes at a Green Party meeting, oh yeah, I remember you're from the song and stuff. So that gives me a bit of prestige. But also the fact that Mike Schreiner trusted me enough to put me on the shadow cabinet, I think is very cool, and hopefully that gives me a little credentials and ability to get my message out there more.
That's my questions.
You said that you also ran for mayor.
Yeah.
So would you say, like, how is it different running right now than it was when you were running for mayor? Was it just as difficult? Do you find it's more difficult now because it's like not as big of a platform, I guess? I don't know.
It's funny because, like, even with, I guess with running for mayor, you're even more alone. Like, there's no party system at all. I think I still had to get signatures. I remember I've run for mayor twice. I remember the last year, for some reason it didn't occur to me that I was going to run or something, and I didn't realize the deadline was there, and I was running around that morning trying to get signatures, and I actually wound up just deciding, okay, I just got to go line up because there's like a 2 p.m. deadline or something, and I wound up everybody in line to submit to run for things. I got them to sign my thing, so I was able to get my number of signatures, and then I was interviewed on the news because I was the very last person to register, so that was a fun little chance to be in the media as well. But other than that, I didn't really do anything. I try to do some Facebook posts. I don't even know if I don't think I did a funny video or anything. It just, because it is so overwhelming, and running for mayor, there's like, anybody can do it if you pay like the $200 fee. So there was like 70 people running, which is why it was interesting when I ran the first time that Breakfast Television messaged me and said, do you want to come on? I thought, oh, they must be asking everybody on. But it was only me, and they also asked on another day the 18-year-old girl that was running, because that was kind of a news story. So it was cool that they singled me out. But other than getting on Breakfast Television, I wasn't able to do much with the campaign either, just because there's so many people running, and the media sort of decides, okay, these are the 3 front runners. And so that's what they asked me on Breakfast Television too. The host said, you know, or when you tell your friends you're running, are they surprised to hear that there's more than just Rob Ford and John Tory running? And I had a really bad cold, and it was 6 a.m. I didn't really understand the question. I said, oh, they're, you know, not too surprised, you know. But what he meant was, like, you know, the media doesn't talk about other people. So it is difficult. But there was when the first time I ran, I was invited to some debate of fringe candidates. So there was like, who was it? There was a beaver puppet. No, is it a beaver? No, a duck puppet that was running for mayor. And I think a clown and a dominatrix, and then me. So it was interesting that they chose all these weird fringe candidates, and I was one of those weirdos. So that was fun, but it was fun to be on stage there. And then I was interviewed by the duck puppet for one of his little videos at a fringe candidates party. Yeah, I feel like maybe there was less pressure running for mayor because there wasn't the party emailing me every 2 minutes. Like, have you got your signatures in? You still have to pay for your Green Party membership, otherwise you can't run. So I'm getting emails every 10 minutes saying, have you got your signatures done? So there's a bit of pressure from there. And there's a bit more attention because, you're an official party candidate, so you're invited to debates and stuff. So I don't remember, I was never invited to anything for the mayor thing at all. So I find the mayor thing's almost more relaxing. It's like, hey, it's kind of fun to run, and then it's more fun in a way because everybody in Toronto can vote for mayor. So my friends are able to say, oh, I saw you on the ballot, I voted. But here, it's only going to be people in Thornhill, so I don't necessarily know all the people here. I think running federally is kind of a bigger deal, and there's more pressure because of the party, and it's nice that a couple of people have come out to support me. And like when I was first at the mall, a guy came with his parents, and they helped me get some signatures, and then another guy came with his mom, and he brought me back some signatures a few days later. So there's been a bit of support that way, and running for mayor is more kind of, it's just a fun thing, and if I'm able to get in the media, it's kind of cool, but it's a a bit less pressure. And,
I'm good with questions. That sums up everything for me.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask. What are you planning to do from now to like improve your campaign? I guess.
Yeah, that's what I need to decide. Like either today, if there's time, or tomorrow, I'll bring in my signatures. Then I'll be on the ballot, and then really, I don't have to do anything. There's a lot of people who run. They're called paper candidates. Basically, they'll put their name on the ballot, and because they want to have a full slate and give people the option to vote green, but they don't do anything. Maybe they live far away. There's a woman I know who's, I guess she's a flight attendant, and she lives in Toronto, but she has family in Edmonton, so she's running in some small town in Alberta, and she's flying there now to try to get signatures, and she's like, I guess I'll just be a paper candidate. And I'm like, well, you can do what you want, you can do a bit of, and she's like, oh, but doesn't mean if you're a paper candidate you can't do anything? I'm like, no, you can still do anything. So I have to decide what to do. I think I would like to maybe print up some flyers and talk to people. There was the debate, the B'nai B'rith debate last week, and I don't think there's going to be any other Thornhill debates. I remember from last time there was basically the one at the synagogue, and that was it. The Liberal candidate was asking me, are you going to come to the other debates? Like, there's one on Spadina. I'm like, I haven't been invited. So those might be more general ones about policy. Like, I don't think there's Thornhill ones, but I'll try to email some people because, they were really happy with me at the B'nai B'rith debate. The CEO of B'nai B'rith wanted to talk to me afterwards, and he's like, listen, I want to, I can maybe comp your membership, and I want you to MC events for us and stuff because you're so funny and stuff. So something came from that, and that's exciting. So, any chance I get to try to go to another debate is another chance for me to interact with people. So hopefully I can find something else to do. The other one thing they usually do is Rogers Cable invites you to come, and they'll ask like 5 questions like you did, and then they film that, and it's sort of, just the woman says, and what's your policy about whatever? So it's kind of the same 5 stock questions to everybody, but I'd like to do that because it gets you in the news, like anything where I can get filmed and interviewed. And this interview was very cool, and there was one girl that interviewed me from the Canadian Jewish News. She's in the Ryerson Journalism School, and so she interviewed me after the debate on Thursday, Hannah Alberga, I think, and that was just posted, and so it was like very cool. So I guess that's about it. Like I printed up some business cards just before the debate. I was like, I don't have any cards to hand out, so I was like, I finally should do that. And I went in, and he's like, well, when do you need them? I'm like, and I said, like an hour? He's like, no, it takes 24 hours. So he printed me up a sheet, and I was cutting them myself, and then I was swearing, and I kept messing it up. And so he wound up just walking. He's like, don't worry. And he came up to me with a box of cards that somehow he magically did. I thought he needed 24 hours, but he was very helpful. And so maybe I'll go back to that guy and get some flyers printed. And other than that, I don't know. If anybody wants to volunteer and help, that would be great. Like especially when it's difficult, I find, to go up to strangers on the street. Like if there's other people with me and look like, maybe he's not scary, like I'll talk to him. So if anybody wants to just come hand out flyers with me, that'd be great. I'll do what I can. But I remember my very first debate when I was running provincially, it was at Baycrest, this old age home where my grandmother was living at the time, I think. And I got there a bit late, and the debate was already on, and the Liberals and the Conservative were yelling at each other about past policies and their decisions. And I just stood at the back. I was like, I can't join this. I don't know anything about their history and all this. And so I just didn't go up. But then a woman came up to me afterwards. She's like, you were the Green Party guy? Like, we would have loved to have heard your thoughts. And I felt so bad. So I went home and I actually cried. I was like, I felt like I let them down. I should have spoken to them. I should have given them the chance to meet me. So I vowed that even if I was scared from then on, I would have to do the debates. I would make sure I went. Just to give people a chance to hear me, or I find a lot of time they want to come up to me and tell me their opinions. Like a guy called me, he's passionate about autism, and he called my phone a couple of days ago, and I said, you can come to the debate if you want. So he came that night, and he wound up talking to me for like 20 minutes with his wife, and they were talking about autism. I learned from that people will try to monopolize your time. I was like, there's so many people I want to talk to, and I felt rude cutting him off, but my friend who was with me said, no, you have to be like politicians learn, that you sort of talk to somebody for a minute, and then you go, okay, thanks, I gotta talk to somebody else. Otherwise, people will try to take all your time, and you get to meet nobody. It shows that people want to talk to me, and they don't necessarily need to. I think a lot of people want a chance to express their views to you. I've had a lot of phone calls lately, and they don't necessarily want to ask you about your policies. They just want to sort of express their feelings, and that's what I feel good about being here for as well. Like, try to respond to all my emails and phone calls, and I even looks like I've missed like a whole bunch of calls the past couple of mornings, and I always forget to check my voicemail, but I should check. Maybe people are leaving messages. But there's also, I realized I've gotten a couple of prank calls the past couple of days. Like it's like this weird thing like, hey, I think you're really cute. And it turns out it's like a recorded thing at the end says, you've been prank called. And I'm like, what? So I don't know if it's because my phone number's public now that weirdos are out there, or I've had stalkers in the past because I do acting and stuff. Maybe they're messing with me. But so yeah, so I guess if I'm ever a professional politician, I'll get some kind of 800 number that, you're not giving out your personal cell phone to people. But in the meantime, I'm a smaller organization. So yeah, what am I planning to do? I guess get in the signatures and then hopefully do some meeting people at bus stops and try to get in the media and do the Rogers thing. And if I can come up with some funny song or some little thing that would be newsworthy, then that would be great as well. Like my mom is a journalist, and she was working for the Ottawa Citizen for years, and she's always said, you got to give people a story. Like reporters are hungry, they want to make their job easier. If you can say, oh, here's the story, it's like eco guys in love with Elizabeth May, then they're like, oh, it's perfect. Like rather than sending them a press release saying, I'm running for and making them have to think of what's the angle to cover. Like I guess you guys are media, so you can agree. You'd probably love somebody to hand you a juicy story and be like, okay, we're going to cover that. So I'll try to do that. So, even on CNN, you always see if somebody does something weird in another country. Like I remember, I don't know if it was Iceland or some election somewhere, some guy made a really weird video floating in space and everything, and it's like, whoa, look at this. This weird candidate there has done this weird video. So maybe I can be an international news sensation if I come up with something.
I hope so.
Thanks.
I think that wraps everything up. I don't have any other questions. You're good? Okay, awesome.
Cool.
Right.
If you have any follow-up questions later, you can let me know.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
We just need to take
some photos, 3 photos if that's okay.
That's all right.